Welcome to RadioOnFire.com, home of the Ask the Minister show, featuring Minister Brigette Crawford. And now, without further ado, let's Ask the Minister.
This is Ask the Minister. So what happens...
Which one of us is the minister?
You are clearly the minister, okay? Minister Brigette Crawford. Did I say that right?
Correct. Yes, you did.
It's kind of French. And
Praise him.
Okay.
Hallelujah.
So here's what we do. We have 5 questions.
Yes, we do.
That people can send hashtag Ask the Minister.
Mm-hmm.
And I will give you these questions and you will do what?
I am going to answer those questions. I am going to go to the Bible and answer those questions.
Okay.
That's the thing that I want to make really clear. So I'm going to go to the Bible and answer those questions. And some of those questions I'm going to give you my opinion on. But I'm going to differentiate between what is my opinion and what God says.
Okay.
To make sure you know the difference.
Okay, so let's start with the first question. And that is, please give your thoughts on people of different religions dating each other.
Okay, and that's the first thing I wanted to do. And so I wanted to reference 2 Corinthians. And you can look this up in the Bible. And people often use this scripture to address that. And it's 2 Corinthians says, do not, excuse me, that's awful, we're live. Do not be bound together with unbelievers, for what partnership has righteousness and lawlessness? I didn't do good with that. I'm sorry. Let me look that up. I'm going to have to read it from a paper.
Go ahead.
Do not be bound together with unbelievers, for what partnership have righteousness and lawlessness, or what fellowship has light with darkness? So basically what they're saying is, if you are a believer and the other person is an unbeliever, how can you really have a good partnership? Or if you are of one faith and the other person is of another faith, how can you really have partnership together?
So that's interesting. That's interesting.
Is that set up for failure?
The relationship?
Yes.
I don't know.
You asked me?
I don't know.
You said people of different religious backgrounds.
Yeah.
So let's just hypothetically take the Muslim faith and the Christian faith.
Okay.
So we know that the Muslim faith do not believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God. And the Christian faith, as in the Baptist faith, says that Jesus Christ is the Son of God. And they believe that Jesus Christ was born of the Virgin Mary. Thus, we are going into Easter, which is when Jesus was resurrected. He was crucified, died, and was buried. So there's a difference in that belief system. So there are things that you do based on that belief system, and Muslims do something very different. So does that cause controversy?
I mean, that would be a difficult relationship, those two religions being so opposite.
Or any two. How do we raise the children?
What if the mother was, or the woman, the wife, or girlfriend, whatever it is, if she was a Christian and the man was an atheist? Could they? I mean, I'm giving you the complete opposite. So that's complete. That's like he doesn't believe in. I think that they could still have a good relationship.
But the question is 2 different religions. That's a little bit different. The atheist means that the man does not believe in God at all. And here's the problem. So the Bible actually says that the man is covered by the woman as long as she continues to pray for him. And that happens very often, that you will find the woman who is very deep in the faith and the man who does not believe.
Right.
And the woman just keeps coming to church for years and years and years and years, and she keeps praying for the husband, and lo and behold, sometimes 30, 40 years later, the husband finally does find himself in the church. So that's a little
and that's where I was going. And that's exactly where I was going.
Than 2 different religions.
Now, could it also be, I guess, with the Muslim and the Christian example, what if one swayed to the other? It doesn't happen too often, but let's say that the Muslim gentleman converted. I mean,
that'd be something to see.
Yeah, I'm sure. For sure.
I guess technically, I guess it depends on the religions, and it depends on the people and how strong they are in the faith and how different the religions are. How orthodox, the people are in the specific religions, because it could cause controversy in terms of some religions are so rigid in terms of, in the Jewish faith, you can't drive on certain days, you can't eat certain foods, you can't do this from sun up to sundown, you can't have sex at certain times. I mean, it depends on...
Which faith is this?
I think, the sun up to sundown, you can't do anything. So, and even when, I think during Ramadan, there's a 30-day fast, the sun up to sundown. So depending on the particular religion that the person is in, there are a lot of things that you can do and that you can't do. And if the other person is or isn't participating, then they may or may not be understanding. And so it depends on, if you can really make it work. And I don't know if you can make it work. And what does the religion itself say about being with someone of another faith? Because you do have some religions that say
that's not permitted.
You should not be with someone. Yeah. Like, for instance, I'm reading Second Corinthians that says that you should be with some. Lightness does not belong with darkness. Am I right about it?
Yeah. I mean, I haven't read the scripture lately. But
if you've read the scripture at all.
If I've read the scripture at all. But I mean, when you put it that way, I can understand that. But I think that also, especially with Christians, there's probably a part of them that would want to try to bring this person over to what they deem to be the right path.
Well, that's correct. And the other thing that you fall into is, sometimes when you have a marriage, especially, and you have maybe a wife that's in the faith, or even vice versa, and you have one spouse that's spending a great deal of time in the church, and the other spouse that's not spending so much time in the church.
Right.
You have a lot of controversy.
Absolutely.
And you're spending more time in the church than you're spending at home, or you're neglecting the home, you're neglecting the spouse, and all those things are important, and they play a huge role. So if you have both the husband and wife that are in ministry together, then, we may go to different meetings together, we go to functions together, and we do these things together. If we are not, then we're apart. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So if we're attending ministries together, then we're still together. If we're going to couples ministry together, or if we're going to, functions of church members together, then we're still doing these things together. But if we're doing them separate, that's just that much more time we're spending apart. And if we have a person that resents the fact that we're spending time at the church, then whenever we're there, it's going to be a problem.
And that would usually be the guy mad about that.
Or the female. if you have a male that spends a lot of time, or sometimes I think there are also men that are called on frequently, and then you may have the wife that feels like somebody's always calling on my husband to go here, there, and everywhere. So, I mean, at any rate, I think that it is best as much possible if you can do these things together.
Okay.
And if you can find someone. But even you can find two persons that may both be Christians but have a different level of commitment. And then when you find different levels of commitment, you still can run into issues.
Yeah, it's a tricky thing. It's a tricky thing.